And we're here at Dkope's crazy 5-day trade challenge. And you're going to learn how to trade, how to understand supply and demand of shares in the market, and you're going to get some cool tools to help you on your trade journey here, okay? So let's jump right into it. Got a lot to fill in this next 15 minutes here on this 5-day trade challenge. And important disclaimer before we get into any financial, this is intended for educational purposes only and trade at your own risk, okay? So that being said, let's get into the overview, and what we're going to cover is some trade plan templates. Then I'm going to talk about the simulators, and this is how you can do it with paper money, just to make sure that you understand how everything works and the supply and demand of the market, okay? And then I'm going to talk about time management a little, because you have to make it work with your schedule, right? And then I'm going to do a little recap and get right into the trading for today. So the trade plan templates, they look a little like this, okay? So, I didn't advance to the next slide. So there's really 5 main pieces to every trade plan, okay? And I don't know if you've ever actually experienced a financial plan, like a retirement plan, but usually they're really lengthy and you can't even get through the first 3 pages without falling asleep, right? So they're insanely boring and wordy, when really all you need to think about is these 5 simple things right here: goals, position sizing, management. I'm going to get right into this today, schedule, and strategy. And you can download these plan templates here at this link. And this document is going to be linked below in PDF form. We could just click on this link and access these plan templates, okay? So that's super cool about this video. Now let's get into the simulators. So there's 2 main simulators that I think you should focus on as a beginner trader if you're actually just getting into this for the first time. Thinkorswim is what we're going to be using today in the demo, and it's just paper money. So you start out with $100,000 in paper money, and you can see if you can grow it into any more than that, okay? And maybe you want to track how long it takes you to double the account, right? So that's a good goal to set up front. And then Forex, there's a Forex.com demo account that you can create. And I'm not going to get into that today because we don't have enough time, but I am going to get into the Thinkorswim paper money, okay? So let's get right into the simulator here. And I'm going to pull it up off of my desktop here and download this Thinkorswim app and then open it on the desktop. And it may take a second. And while it's opening up, I'm actually going to go to my favorite screeners here. And if you're looking for access to our screeners, you can schedule a call at fridaytraders.com and we'll tell you how to get access to these screeners. But some of these tickers, this went from 4 to 18 today, so they can move really a lot during one day's time, okay? And I'm just going to open up some familiar tickers that I saw, okay? And this was throughout the day, and I'm going to tell you what I like and don't like about each of them as I'm kind of scanning through and going through stocks to buy today. Okay, so that's enough for this list. I do have a few strategies going on. The high risk list is basically the top movers of the day. So I'm looking at stocks that are up 10% or more today, and that would take me all the way down to here. So, Rent the Runway, I was looking at that stock earlier this week. Some of these are familiar tickers, and I'm just going to open them up and see how the numbers are looking, okay? So that's it for the high risk list. And then the swing list is stocks that are up most on the week. So these are stocks. This is where I start for the weekend holders is this list, okay? So, and you can see some tickers are overlapping on 2 lists, which is a good sign. It's going up in the short term, it's going up in the midterm, and then you just got to make sure it's going up in the long term. Okay, so Thinkorswim, I'm just going to sign into our demo account that I set up for our traders here. And while that's loading, I'm going to continue to scan for these stocks that are looking good. And this convexity list is stocks that are at or near the 52-week highs, okay? So I'm just going to scan down on this list, and I see a bunch of similar tickers, okay? So that's pretty much enough tickers to go off of to get an even shorter list to actually place a trade, okay? So I'm already in a bunch of positions here. Seeing as this is the first time that you're going to be in this simulator, I'm just going to go ahead and reset all these positions here. So I'm just going to reset all positions. Yes. And now everything is reset here, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and go on the trade tab, and you may need to toggle with some settings here to pull up some of these options, but there should be an option to pull up this buy market and sell market buttons. And I'm going to go ahead and start going through these stocks that I think are good opportunities in the market. So BYSI, this really opened up today. It's up 50%. BYSI. And I'm going to go in BYSI, and I'm going to go to buy about 10, we'll say 10% of our account balance. So it is a $100,000 account balance. So 10% of that would be $10,000. So about 5,000 shares of BYSI, and it doesn't need to be exact, okay? Just this is because this is paper money. So you can see when you go to buy the order, it comes up as $11,000, which is, you know, close enough. It's fine. If you wanted to be more exact, you can totally be more exact, but this is just the demo video for the demo account. So, but for right now, I'm just going to get in all these positions because there's only 7 minutes till market close, okay? So BYSI was the first one. CLNN, so it's in a downtrend on the daily chart, which I don't like. Okay, so go-to is the next one. And now this is the time to talk about the supply and demand of shares in the market. Okay, that's one of the goals in this intro video here. So the supply is the shares outstanding. And you can see this listed on FinViz right here. If you type in a ticker and scan down here to the shares outstanding, you see every company's shares outstanding. This particular company has 258 million shares outstanding, and the volume today is basically the demand for shares. So that's 23 million. So if you take the demand, the volume, and you divide it by the supply, the shares outstanding, you'll get what percentage of the company is turning over today. Okay, so this looks like, by some rough calculations, almost 10% of the company that's turning over today. So usually it's less than 1%, or sometimes between 1 and 2% of shares traded each day, and that's normally like an average. And then you can also compare it to the average volume of that company in the last 3 months. Okay, so the average volume of the company was 3 million shares per day, and it's trading at 23 million shares today. So I'm just going to go ahead and go to in the simulator. So I am on trade and active trader again. So I'm just going to type in go to. You definitely do want to make sure you're on the trade and the active trader tab. And then I'm only going to buy about 2,500 of this to get to my 10,000 mark. Confirm send. Oh, it's about 7,000, so I was a little short there. But you can see it got filled at 310 here. So if I wanted to even that out a little bit, I can buy an extra 500 shares. Confirm send, confirm send. And to do this in 5 days, the 5-day trade challenge, here's where it gets a little insane. You definitely do want to place at least 5 to 10 trades per day, and you really want to go with 30 to 50 trades in the entire week to get a good sample size of trades. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and buy Rent2 because this is a familiar ticker. We got to speed up here, but BTB, this also is, I think it's a crypto company out of China, but we're just going to go ahead and buy it because it looks like an uptrend here. So BTB, and I'm going to go ahead and just buy 1,000 shares of this. And I'm also going to start to sell some stocks as well. I'm going to buy CBay because I was tracking that earlier as well. So this, I'm going to go even bigger. I'm actually going to go 20% position sizing in this because I was feeling pretty confident about that. And then I am going to start to scan for stocks that I don't like so much, but I'm going to filter by market cap and only go companies between 10 and 200 billion. That way they'll be more tradable. It's likely that they'll have shares to short on this brokerage. So Trimble, this is the first one that's looking good. It has the volume here. So TRMB, we'll see if it's available to short. TRMB, Trimble, and I'm gonna go ahead and lower this position size to about 200 because the share price is a lot bigger, and it did fill, so this is good. And we only have about a minute left here, so I'm trying to think of companies here that we could trade, and let's see if Western Digital is one of them. WDC, so it would be about selling 200, confirm send, and it does look like it's shortable here. So the markets are closed. This trade didn't get off, but I'm in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's not bad for the first day. Encourage everyone to try and get to the 10 trade mark. Allow yourself more than 10 minutes to try and do this. Maybe half an hour would suffice. And if you know nothing about stocks, maybe you want to leave yourself an hour or two, do some research, look into some patterns, and really dive into some numbers here. And the cool thing about Thinkorswim is you can make it an OTO order, which is one cancels the other. So I could go into go-to here, right-click, create closing order, and sell with OCO bracket order. That's right. One cancels the other. It's OCO. I think I said OTO, but it's actually OCO, and it should bring up this order here, and you can set these prices. So go-to is the target here would be 372, and the stop is 276. So 372 and 276, and then the other thing that you do want to be aware of is if you want this order to be good for the next 60 or 90 days, you definitely want to change this from day to good till canceled. Otherwise, the order will be canceled today. That's what day is today. So GTC is good till canceled, and it is a limit order and a stop order. So I'm just going to confirm send. The tricky thing is if you sold shares short, if you are betting that the stock is going down, like we were in TRMB, notice how TRMB, this was a downtrend, and we think it's going to fall further, okay, because it's breaking down to new lows. So our mark is about 50. I'm going to go back in the simulator. So the mark is where it's at right now, but what we're really interested in is the trade price. Okay, so the trade price was 49.82, and if we go back into the document here, the trade challenge document, then we're going to type in TRMB 49.82, and we're going to set the stop at 10% here. So the stop is actually going to be above because we're shorting the stock. Okay, we're betting that this is going to go down. So a 10% loss would be right around the $55 mark is what this document is calculating for me. And the target we're going to make at minus 20%, okay, because that's our reward to risk ratio of 2 to 1, which is sort of like the golden rule in trading, which I kind of like to stick around, okay? So this is what we're going to input as the OCO order for setting for these short positions, okay? So in this simulator, if you right click, create closing order with OCO bracket orders, the stop is actually going to be at, it was about 55, okay? And the target was about 40. $5 represented about 10%. Confirm send. This should send the order, okay? So we got 2 closing orders, and then you just do the same exact thing for the other positions you opened. And I do recommend to set those OCO orders right when you get in the order, and that's going to limit your risk overall. The cool thing about the simulator is even if you don't document any of these trades like in this every day, you can, because that does take a good 15-30 minutes just to document the trades as well, you're going to know if your strategy is working when you see the results from all these trades that you put on. Maybe it was 30 or 50 trades. You're going to see this overall P&L, and if it's in the positive, that's a good sign. You're in like the top of all traders on the market. If it's in the negative, then you can just analyze each position, see what went wrong in what position, and start digging deeper into the data. Okay, so that's it for this short trade challenge intro video, and I'm going to do a follow-up video where we show you what happened with all the positions. Maybe we analyze a few, give some pointers on what went wrong and what went right in some trades. Now there's a lot of factors, a lot of influences. Don't get discouraged. I'm sure there's going to be times when this account is way down, okay? But we're just going to keep going, stick with the plan, stick with our current strategies, and fight through to the end to where we make 50 trades. Let me just make sure that I got everything here. So we talked about the trade plan templates. You know where to find those. Should be a link in this video to those. And then we talked about the simulators. So you're going to want to download the Thinkorswim simulator and then start actually placing these trades, setting up specific times that match your trade plan, right? So you're going to be consistent about that. So next we covered how to trade, and this we talked about both position management and time management as well. This is, you do want to block out at least a half an hour to make all these trades. Hopefully you're placing 5 to 10 trades a day, okay? If you're placing 10 trades a day, that's when it can be just a 5-day trade challenge, and that's when it gets a little insane, but I have total confidence that you can do this and you can execute because you have this video, you have all these instructions, you have all these cool tools, and that's pretty much it. Now I'm just going to cover what we learned in this crazy 5-day trade challenge from the beginning, sort of zoom back out another level, okay? So you learned how to trade, hopefully, and if you didn't, then definitely schedule a call on FridayTraders.com, and we can tell you everything that you want to know. Just write down all your questions so that you're ready to go on the call. And hopefully you understand the supply and demand of shares in the market a little bit now better. Now that we talked about the shares outstanding is the supply and the demand is the volume per day. And lastly, we gave you some cool tools, some links to some cool tools that you can download and hopefully will help you on your trading journey. Okay, that's it for this video. I will see you in the next video. See you then.